Hey, welcome back. We're just going to continue our weapon pickup. So we're going to go to our first person character and we're going to do all the little logic so we can start having some weapons in our hand. So as you can see here, we had a reference earlier from our weapon pickup. This time we're going to do a reference to the weapon master class. So we're going to cast to our weapon master class. So cast weapon master class because we need access to this, and same thing as the actor we put here. So we're going to put the actor there, so we have a reference to this. I'm going to promote this one to a variable because we need this reference to continue our code. And this one will be, it's just the weapon master class, so we can just remove that. And we're all set and good. So we can go down here next to our slow time here or anywhere you want. And we're going to start doing the logic. So when we press a certain key, this happen. When we press another key, this happen. So the first thing we need an interaction, we need an input to when we press on the screen. For example, there's a gun on the ground. If we press E, it's going to pick up that gun. So we're going to go to Edit, Project Setting, and in Project Setting, we go to Input, and we create an input for interaction, as you can see here with the E key. And we're going to create another one with an action mapping with drop weapon, and you put the key that you want. So we're going to go back to our first person character. Now we can search for our interact. We have our action interact. So when we press E, what's happened? Well, first we're going to go to a branch, and in that branch here, we're going to go to our boolean, and we're going to take our boolean as weapon. If you don't have it, just create a boolean with this name and just put it right there. So what's happened when we press E? So well, if we have a weapon in our hand, we're going to drop it, and if we have no weapon, we're going to get a weapon. So we're going to create a custom event. So the first custom event will be give weapon pickup. We're going to call that like this, give weapon pickup. And we're going to confirm that our weapon that we have is valid. So search for is valid. And we need a reference to our current weapon pickup. So we're going to take our reference to our current weapon pickup. First, I'm just going to move that to the ref category. So we're going to take our current weapon pickup, which is right there, plug it there. We're going to compile. So if it's valid, we're going to have access to a few things. So our current weapon pickup, it's right there. So if we drag from that and research for our current ammo and clip, we should have it there. So current ammo and clip. And we need our current spare ammo and clip. I mean the spare ammo. And also our weapon to give. So weapon to give. So we have it here. It's going to be as get as well. So the reason is because basically you don't really pick up the weapon on the ground. You are destroying the one that you have in your hand, and it's gonna spawn a new one on the ground, right? So it's exactly what's happening. So it's why we do a reference to our weapon to give, because when we're gonna give the weapon, it's gonna give one in our hand and it's gonna destroy the other one. So from that, if it's valid, we're gonna go and we have to give the weapon to the player, because this one is just the give weapon pickup, which is mean that when you press that, it's gonna drop this certain weapon on the ground. So the one that you're gonna have in your hand, and you want to pick up the other one that is on the ground. So we have to do a code for give the weapon to the player. Okay, it's a little bit confusing. So we're gonna do a custom event, and this one will be give weapon to player. Now we can, if it's valid, we're gonna be able to give weapon to the player, which is right there. And now if we plug this right there, you can see it's not working, obviously, right? Because here we have to add some inputs. So we're gonna add those input. So if you click on the weapon to give, you add an input here, and the input will be weapon, and it's gonna be our weapon master. So we're gonna search for weapon master. It's gonna be the weapon master class, and we want a class reference. And we're gonna create two more, and those one will be our current ammo and our current spare ammo, and this one is the ammo in clip. and we're going to make sure they're both integer like this. So now if we go back up, we should have access to those values, so we can plug it right there. And after it's that, well, we're done. So we have to destroy the actor, and the target will be this one here. So just plug it right there. So this is, right, as I said, it's take the weapon, pick up, and then give it to the player. So the one that it's on the ground, right? So we're gonna compile that, not compile, we'll do a comment. I'm gonna put number 2, and we're just gonna write take the weapon. So take weapon pickup. I'm gonna put in bracket the one on the ground so you can remember, and give it to the player. Right? How we give it to the player now? Well, we call the function here give weapon to player. So the code is here. So we're gonna do this code. Let's start with that. So we're gonna confirm once again, is it valid? And here we have access to this and that. So we need our weapon master class. So the object type that we're gonna put in is valid. This is our weapon master class. So weapon master class, plug it right there, like this. And we're gonna take our as weapon, and we're gonna plug it to not valid and ticket. And from that, we're gonna spawn our actor from class, and the class will be the one from our give weapon to player. And we're gonna plug the ammo and clip and spare ammo right there. And the investigator and the owner will be self. So just plug both in it and compile that. And you can see there's an error because they want a spawn transform. So basically what's happening here, we give the weapon to the player. However, we need to know where to spawn that actor, right? So, well, it's just going to be very simple. It's going to be get actor transform, and we'll compile, and now it's fixed. So if we take that now, we're gonna need to do, we're gonna have to take our weapon master class. I don't know if you remember, the weapon master class is right here. So we need to plug it right there, but you know, if you do this, you know, you cannot really edit. There's something missing. So if you remove this, but you click on it, you're gonna see it's very convenient. So you click on replicate here and you do a rep notify. Now what it's going to do for us is that here you can see there is now a function on rep notify. So if we take our weapon master class and put it right there, now you can see it say notify. So something has to happen when this code. We give the weapon to the player, check if it's valid, and if it's valid, nothing happened. But if it's not valid, right, it's going to set that we have a weapon, and it's going to spawn the actor, so the gun itself, where, but we want the gun to spawn in Rn. So how to do this? Well, we could write a code here, but hey, we have this, so why not using it? So we're going to open it, and in here, it's going to be simple. We're going to drag from that, and we're going to do attach, not attack, but attach component. We're going to take the one for mesh, and the target will be not this one. So we have our weapon master class. We're going to take our weapon master class, and now we're going to drag for our weapon master class, and we're going to search for our first person gun. That is right here, and we're going to get this. Now it's going to be the target. So where we want to attach the gun, on which gun, but the first person gun, and where we're going to attach this in the end of our character, which are right those one here, right? So we need this one here. Gonna drag that there and do, and we're done. So when we pick up the weapon, it's gonna call that notify, and it's gonna attach the weapon, which is this one there, to the hand of our character. We're gonna compile that, and we're gonna go back to our event graph, and now we're good with this. So now we can take this code, do a comment on it, and it's gonna be logic to give a weapon, sorry, to the player. Okay, and after that, we also have, if you remember on the top here, we give the weapon to the player, but we also need to drop the weapon to the player. So if it's true that we have a weapon, we want to drop the weapon. So we need to call drop weapon. So we're gonna have to create it first, obviously. So do a custom event, and we're gonna call that drop weapon. So now if we go back on the top, if it's true, we're gonna drop the weapon. And if it's not true, we have a weapon. Well, we want the weapon in our hand, so we're gonna call give pickup weapon. So it's gonna take the weapon from the ground, that's gonna destroy it and put it in our end. So we're all good with this. So we're gonna go back down here. We're gonna go to our drop weapon. And on the drop weapon here, remember we did an interaction key to drop the weapon manually if we don't want to wait for a gun. So we can call drop weapon and get the action event. And from the action event, we're gonna call our drop weapon, which is right there. So when we press it manually, it's gonna go right to this code here. So here, if we drop our weapon, it means that we have no more weapon in our hand. So we're gonna take as weapon. We're gonna make sure that it's unchecked. All right, we're gonna spawn an actor because now we're dropping that weapon on the ground. So it's mean that we have to create the weapon on the ground. As you remember, the weapon itself doesn't fall from your hand. It's destroying in your hand and create a new one, right? So we're gonna do this. So we're gonna get a reference to our weapon master class, because the weapon master class is gonna tell us exactly which one we want. So from that, we're gonna go for our weapon pickup. So as you can see here in the master class, we don't have the weapon pickup. So we're gonna go to our master class. So go all the way up to my stuff, items, and we're gonna go to the weapon master class, and we're gonna do a weapon pickup. And now the only thing we have to create another variable. So create another variable, we're gonna call that weapon pickup, and the target would be our weapon pickup, and it's gonna be the class reference. There we go. And now if we compile, we'll call it good. So we can go back to our first person character. And now from that, we should be able to access it. So not give weapon, but weapon pickup. Now it's there. We can do just a get. And now we can plug it to the class here and compile this. And then from the weapon master class, we want the current ammo in clip that we have. And we also want the current spare ammo that the gun has right there. Now the only thing we have to do now is figuring out where that weapon's going to drop. Here on the spawn transform, we have to determine where this weapon is going to drop in the game, because right now the game doesn't know. It knows that when we press to drop the weapon, it has to create a new weapon, so which is regardless of the one you have, not regardless, the one that you have in your hand is the same one it's going to create, but where? So right now I have no location, so it can be anywhere, but because it's anywhere, this is an error. So we're just going to do a little code to exactly verify where we have to pick up this. It's pretty simple. So we're going to just create a little function here. So, and we're going to call that get pickup spawn, we're going to call that spawn transform. And from this, I'm going to drag that and I'm going to do a return node. Right, from our return node, we're just going to click on it and we're going to need an output, and the output will be, I'm just going to call that transform, and it's going to be a transform obviously here. How to determine the location? Well, we're going to get our controller and where we're looking, right? So we're looking, so we can get the actor eyes. So it's going to check where we're looking, and we're going to get that forward vector. So we'll get the forward vector because we want that to go in front of us, and where we want it to go in front of us. So we're going to multiply this. So just search for multiply. and we're going to change the pin here, and we're going to convert that to a single precision float, and we're going to put 100. So this is going to be dropped where we're looking at 100 unit in front of us. This one we're going to search for plus, so add. We're going to add the bottom like this, and I'm going to plug the out location there, and we have to plug it right there. So what we can do to make that a little bit prettier, we're going to make a transform, and we're just going to plug the location right in it. So now you have it. So where we're looking, it's going to be in front of us. 100 unit in front of us is going to add our point of view plus the 100 unit. It's going to be the exact location we want the gun to appear on our screen. So we're going to go back to our event graph, and now we can just take our get pickup spawn transform, put it right there. As you can see here, it's not what we want exactly because we have to plug this to our code. So we're going to remove it and just click on our pickup spawn transform, and we're going to click per. So this way it's look a little bit tidier, and we can plug it right there. So now we can compile. So now we know exactly where to drop the weapon. And when the weapon is dropped, well, we're gonna have to destroy the actor. So go there and destroy actor. Which actor? Well, it's gonna be the weapon master class. So weapon master class right here. Perfect. Because if you don't do that, I believe it's just duplicating the same gun over and over every time you click. So we're good with that. So now we're just going to do a little comment so we can remember what this is doing for us. So press C is going to be number 4, and it's going to be drop our weapon to the ground, right? And I'm going to make in reality, it is destroying the weapon and spawn a new one on the floor. So now we have it, so those two go together. So we're going to put it there. So now I believe we do have everything we need here, and I'll catch you on the next one.